Idaho Water Sports. It is the middle of November and it's cold, and we didn't want to make everybody get out on this boat, but we just couldn't wait. So we wanted to get out here. One of our shop guys got in a dry suit, and we wanted to show you this 25LSV. We wanted to give you a feel for what it can do on the water, what the wake looks like, and some of the coolest features that Malibu put in this boat this year. So Malibu changed up the bow this year in this boat. It is longer and more spacious. So even though it's a traditional bow and it still gives you kind of some sleek lines and it looks really good on the water, you still have more space up here. They omitted the walkway. They don't even give you an option for that anymore. They know that people take this bow cushion and they put it in there and they leave it in there. So instead of putting storage up here that you're gonna have to make people move to get to, they use it as a bow tank. They put the batteries up here. Very rarely do you even need to touch the batteries. So they put that in a space where you're not even gonna get to it, and then they put the storage where you want it. You can open up this compartment here, and it's pass-through storage. It's a great place for things that you don't want to get wet, towels, bags, but you can also access it from the front. So if you have people up front who come in and they're wet, they can easily grab a towel and not have to walk through the boat. You also have a little bit of storage right here, which is great, you know, sunscreen or shoes or anything that people up in the bow want to keep up there with them. Just another little hidey hole of storage. So they've given us armrests up here. So it's nice and comfortable while you're sitting. You have a place to rest your arm on either side. They've also changed the contour of the seats up front. So when you're sitting in the bow and the driver's doing tight turns, it really tucks you in and makes you feel safe and comfortable up there. They moved the batteries from underneath the observer seat up into the bow. It does two things. It gives you more weight up front. It takes away some of that bow tank space, but it gives you more weight up front. And they have hidden the windscreen here for easy access when you want to block the wind. One thing that people really loved about the previous 25LSV that they have brought into this new 2019 is the flip-up passenger seating. So if there's only two of you in the boat and you want to cruise around and you both want to be facing the same direction, you can flip the seat up this way. You both are looking forward, you can both see what's going on up front. They also kept the flip-up wake view seat. So if you have a smaller crew and you want to break up some of this long space, you can flip up the seat and it gives you nice wake view seating. Instead of having a flip up seat on this side, they made this a fixed wake view seat. So it's always going to be really comfortable for somebody watching your rider. And then they've given you another storage compartment. It's great for one of those soft-sided Yeti coolers if you want easy access drinks, and then the one underneath the seat can be for lunch or things you don't need to get too often. I put shoes in here. You can put whatever you want. Couple cup holders up here and another little hidey hole storage. They've changed the way they've done the hinges on the seats. So rather than gas shocks and flipping up, they have made more of a flat hinge that makes it easy to pull out the cooler with only raising one seat. Tucked back behind the cooler, there's the trash can. So they have built it in back behind the cooler so it's not going to impede any storage at all. It's just back there tucked away, and then you're able to access it through the hatch right here without having anybody move. You can just pop that open and throw something away. This seat also flips up. There's a little bit of storage down there, so something that you don't need to access very often, an anchor or bumpers or something like that. Easy to get to. One seat opens to get to that. The storage underneath this side of the boat is one long storage compartment. So rather than having fiberglass or batteries or anything impeding your storage, you could easily fit a couple skis, a wakeboard, 2 surfboards. You've got tons of room that you can tuck stuff away. Even if you're towing down to Lake Powell and you don't want to put your cover on, you can tuck everything down into the storage compartments and keep it out of the way. But there's plenty of room for all of that underneath the seats. This year for the 25LSV, it's exclusive in the 25LSV. No other model has this feature yet. Rather than a traditional wake view bench, they are offering one that has 8 different positions. So it is a wake view bench. If you'd like it that way. If you have it in this position, it will flip up and match this wake view seat. You can also move it back one more and it will match this wake view seat. So you have options with where your wake view seat is going to be. You can also use it as a table. So if you have just a couple people in the boat and you want to sit right here and have a nice little, have a cocktail or whatever, you can do that. If you have little kids who want to sit here and put their legs right through, you can have them right up against the table while they're eating. So no more Cheetos everywhere in the boat, just right on the table. This table can be used here, it can be used here, or it can be used all the way at the back of the boat. You have multiple options with where you want to use the table and the wake view seat. It's a really cool feature and super exciting that they came out with it this year. So this is the G10 Power Tower. It's new for 2019 as an option. You can still get the standard G3.5 tower, also really easy to put down. It has a gas shock assist, it's just 2 handles. For the G10 Power Tower, there's no extra steps. All you're gonna do, you're gonna turn the power on the power tower. What's cool about this power tower, it's directly connected to the batteries. So even if your battery switch is turned off, you've shut down your boat and you're ready to go into the house, you can still turn the power tower on and then use it. So you just turn it on and then you start it. The whole tower comes down in about 9 seconds. It's really quick. You have to adjust the bimini, put the bimini up, and then I obviously wouldn't keep a board on the rack when I'm putting it all the way down, but once you're set to put it down, it does only take 9 seconds. It's quick, and it goes down nice and low. For 2019, we have the 12-inch touchscreen. It's called the Command Center. We also have a smaller touchscreen over to the side. Malibu likes to keep your vitals, so it likes to keep everything that you need while you're driving the boat right up by your face, rather than moving it over to one side or another. That's their goal. They want it to be, you just can quickly glance down at the screen and then glance back up. You're not searching, you're not looking for stuff. It's really easy to access while you're driving the boat. Then on this smaller screen down here, that's where they've got your stereo and your lighting and your heater options, anything like that. The ambiance inside the boat, that's going to be controlled on this screen. Any rider and driver preferences are going to be controlled on this screen. We have your Sport Dash. New for 2019 is an optional wireless charging. So when you get it with the wireless charging, if I were to put my phone right here, it's just going to be charging my phone right away. They also give you a wireless charging spot over by your driver's elbow, and then another one inside of the glove box right here. So they give you 3 wireless charging stations if you decide to go that route. The new captain's chair, more of a race car style feel, has a flip up bolster. For somebody who's short like me, it's nice to be able to get up a little bit higher, but it still is really comfortable when you're sitting low. For the heater, they've given you a 5-outlet heater option. So you have 3 outlets down here that are the pull-out hoses. You can tuck them under a blanket or a sweatshirt for when it's a little bit chilly. The driver, of course, has their fixed outlet that makes it so your feet are always nice and toasty warm. And then you've got a pull-out hose here, so if anybody is up in the bow and needs a heater, then they can pull that one up there. It's also really nice on a cold day to put your windscreen in, close the windshield, turn on all your heaters, and then it heats up this zone really nicely. So they did take away a couple cup holders, but they gave you instead some cell phone holders. So there is USB charging ports right by the cell phone holders, and then there's 2 here and 2 there. So 4 cell phone holders, and they've still given you 6 cup holders on this side. So I think it's gonna be okay. The board racks on the G10 Power Tower are the PTM clamping racks. So instead of having to wrap a bungee all around, you just clamp down on both sides. Then when you're ready to use the board, pop the buttons. You can bring them, there's 3 different positions that they can be in. So when you're towing, when you're storing, and when you're actually using them, they can be turned all the way out. They've made them thicker, so as surfboards get a little thicker, most of your surfboards are gonna fit in here. So the 25LSV comes with 4 hard ballast tanks. You have your bow ballast tank, your hard tank in the center, and then 2 rear tanks. They've taken the 2 rear tanks, and instead of just being flat, they have made them an L-shaped tank. So it takes advantage of some of that space up inside the gunnel where you're not really using it anyway, and it makes it a more efficient system. This boat has plug and play bags in the back as well as the 4 hard ballast tanks. They also have their warming tray above the engine right here. So if you've used your vest and it's freezing like it is today, you can put that back here in the warming tray. Next time you use it, instead of being cold and wet, it's gonna be warm and wet, which is better. The 25LSV is a big heavy boat, but it is also very versatile. So it has one of the best wakeboarding and wake surfing wakes in the industry. And because it has Malibu's unique cab forward design, it is going to be a better 25-foot boat for slalom skiing. It's not going to be a response, but it's definitely something that you could ski behind. That's why they've given you the pylon. It's a pop-up pylon that's there when you want it, tucked out of the way when you don't want it. But when you do want to put on your slalom skiing, when it's glass like it is right now, and you want to get out there and do some turns, it's doable. It absolutely is. We also have, you'll notice on the back of this boat, there are some cushioned seats. It's not just a flat piece of fiberglass with a little soft grip on top of it. It's a nice, comfortable cushioned seat. Something fun to hang out on. There's cup holders back here. If everybody's swimming around, it's a great place to just lounge. But they also have given you some storage compartments underneath. So the storage tray's there. You can put shoes, ropes, gloves, anything you want back there. You can even put a couple scoops of ice in and some drinks, and then you really have a party. One thing I was not about to show you in the water on a day like today, but I would love to show you, is the flip down swim board. So this option is super cool. It's expensive, but if you ever have little kids or people who struggle getting into the boat, this is one of the coolest options I've ever seen. Everything is finished really well. There's not really any sharp edges or anything like that, and it's just gonna make it gives you a place that you could be sitting in the water, but it also makes it easier for people to climb up into the boat, especially when the boat's not weighted. So you don't have any ballast in the boat. Swim platform is not sunk down into the water, so it may be harder for some people to get in and out. This just is a cool feature for those that need it. And then it just flips right back up into place, and then you still have a nice soft grip on the underside.
All right, now it's time to get out on the water and see what this boat can do. Now this shot is a really good way to see the size of that wake. It's tall and steep and clean. We're surf right. We're going about 11 miles per hour, just under, and we have the wedge not quite in its most steep setting, but really close. This shot shows you how long that wake is. So you can see the bird's eye view of this boat. It's 25 feet, and look how far back that wake goes behind the boat. It's almost another 25 feet back there. It's a really long wake. And this isn't even with the wedge in its longest setting. This is in one of the steeper settings, so it is a little bit shorter. And then this is a close-up view and in the boat view of the same wake. So wedge, not quite all the way to vertical, but really close. This is kind of going to be the cleanest, steepest wake. And then we put the wedge closer to lift mode, lengthening it out, making it less steep and less push for somebody who's a smaller size or a beginner. This is just bringing it back up to that really steep wake, clean, lots of push. And then we're going to go down into lift mode, which is giving us negative 500 pounds of ballast, and this is going to be great for somebody who is really small. You know, you're teaching a 12-year-old 60-pound kid how to surf. That's a much more manageable wake. It's not going to be shooting them into the swim platform or pushing them off the side of the wake. They're going to have enough push to stay in there, but not so much that it makes it really hard to ride. You can see it's still really clean, really far back, but that's going to be a perfect wake to teach somebody who's small and a beginner. And then this is Casey in the dry suit, killing it. It's cold. And this is surf left he's working on right now. You can see how far back he gets in the wake. Gives a couple pumps, and then he just easily gets right back up into the sweet spot there. You can get really far back and still have plenty of push. And then when we're done, push the go home button. You can see the wedge is going to tell us it's moving. It's going to come up into the stowed position, and it starts all of our ballast drain pumps. It turns off our speed control, and it puts surf gate back in, so it gets us ready to go back to the dock. And that's it. If you guys have any questions, let us know. We'd love to get you out on the water, whether it's over the winter time or if you want to get out next summer. We'd love to have you see it in person and actually ride behind it. It's a pretty phenomenal boat. Look at that metal flake in the sun. It's beautiful. And that's the Malibu's 2019 25LSV. It's an amazing boat.